Hey guys, Orange Samurai here. As you all know, unfortunately I will not be playing at Bandai Card Games Fest 25-26 in Dallas because I'll be one of the casters for the One Piece card game North American Final alongside Doa. So because I am not playing at this event, I wanted to show you the Kalgara deck list that I would have played at the LCQ. So let's get to it.
A lot of people ask me, hey Diego, do you want to get an Altar Kalgara leader because you have, as the base? And I'm like, no, thank you, I appreciate it. I like this one, it's fine. The real reason is because I've had the Altar somewhere in my apartment, but I could never find it. It was a birthday/Christmas gift, and I don't know where I put it. But finally, after not looking very hard, I found it. So now I can say I have my alt art. I'm good to go. Thank you everybody that offered. I appreciate it, but I'm good with the alt art here that was given to me by one of my friends. So without further ado, let's see the main deck. Alright, starting off with 3 Shura. You gotta have this card, I think, at this point in time because you need to have the maximum amount of consistency. Unfortunately, I am not playing it at a 4-off, unlike the Stefano build from Bologna where he top 8'd, because I chose to cut one of these in order to have a different card that I have in the deck, which I'll show you later. So yeah, that was a sacrifice I had to get because the other main Shanding Warrior cards were too important and I could not cut them, as well as some of the cards in the event lineup. But Shura is a must-have to some capacity. 3, I think, is the bare minimum because 1, trigger body, 1k counter. It searches all of your Sky Island cards, so which includes your Shanding Warriors by default, and also most of your events. You can get them through that as well. Not all of them. This card is also really good in the sense that early game or late game, it can help you get an out because its trigger is to play this card and do the effect. So that is really strong. Then 4 Seuses. And this is an absolute 4-off because it is one of the strongest yellow cards in the game. This one, it is going to be a 2k counter, so it takes one of your 2k counter spots. However, the effect is so strong, it is very worth it, even though it's out of archetype. This card can KO a 5 cost or less. And yeah, you do burn a life. However, with this current format in OP12, where we also have added Bartholomew Kuma, we have potentially 8 healers in this deck. I don't necessarily have 8 healers, but that is potentially what you can reach, so you don't feel as bad as burning that life. But at the same time, you are going so fast with this deck that burning that life may not matter, and it can help you speed up things to get cards into your hand or get to your Ohm effect faster. Speaking of Ohm, we play all 4 of them here because you absolutely have to. Ohm is pivotal for early game pressure because it is a 4 cost that's 5k, can potentially be 6k with its ability to increase by 1000 when you have 2 or less life. So by the time you play it out, on your next turn when you're attacking, he should be 6k, which is pretty strong. And yeah, that can be beneficial because it can match the attack power of a lot of leaders nowadays that do go to 6k, which is really good right now. And this also is a counter, it is Sky Island, and with this you can search and play out your holies. What the dog doing? He is doing big things. So you gotta have 4 of these too because you wanna see it either in your hand or be able to search it out right away when you open Shura or Upper Yard. So essentially, in a perfect world, you'll see these in your hand or you search into the holy, right? And then going first with turn 3, you should be swing 1 Dawn attach with Kalgara leader. You swing into your opponent. You play a 5 cost Kalgara, you take a life, then because you took a life from the 5 cost, you are gonna be drawing another card. So you took 3 cards that turn, which is huge. So you have infinite counter that way. And then by the next turn, you'll have 5 cost Kalgara, your 6k Ohm, and a Holy to attack. So that's 4 swings. 4 swings on turn 4. And that is a turn when you set up with your 6 cost Kalgara and your Nolan. So that's pretty good. Then we got your 4 Wipers, the 4 cost, 5k attack, 2k counter. And this one is a indispensable part of the deck because it is in archetype, Sky Island, and Shanding Warrior. It can potentially, if you want a higher roll, you can play this card and search for the Upper Yard and play it out, which is huge. And yeah, I mean, it is capable body to attack. Say if you're playing against Teach and you have nothing else to do, you can play this, of course. no reason not to use it, right? But it is an incredible 2K counter and how versatile it is. You can even play it via the Kalgara leader effect if you really wanted to, if you have nothing else to do and you really wanted to have pressure. But ultimately, its main purpose is 2K counter. So what I like to do a lot of the time is I am playing Upper Yard or Shura. I have no key card I want to get to, like a Kalgara or Omar Holy, and I get this because I am arming my hand with 2K counters, so it's really good. Then we have the MVP of this deck, 5 cost Kalgara, and this card is immense in the deck because now you're going to be drawing potentially 3 cards per turn due to its effect. When you play this card, if you or your opponent took a life, you'll draw once per turn. So just to clarify, you can have all 4, 3, 2, or 1, but you only draw once, by the way. But yeah, having that third card get drawn in your turn is huge because a lot of the times you're trying to find an out, and that out isn't necessarily a Sky Island or Shandian, so you can't upper yard it, you can't 5-cost wiper it, you can't Shura it, right? So your options were you draw into it, you take it out of life, but now, because of this card, you're drawing 1 card sooner because its effect is once you take that life or you took their life, you're going to draw 1 more time. So potentially, you get 3 chances to draw into your Nolan, your Kuma, your Zeus, your Red Hawk, any of those cards. And it is also going to be a 5 cost, so you can have a better go on first turn. Turn 3, like I mentioned earlier, you can have him, your Omen, your Holy, huge. It is also really, really good against Teach because it is not an on play, and that's going to give you the difference in card size advantage against Teach because you will always be drawing and you'll keep him at bay because Teach also has a lot of draw power due to his search, right? So yeah, really strong card to have. The only time where I'd say it's a negative, it's in the blue matchups where they could potentially give you a pudding, and that's a really feels bad moment. However, you can always play around it by countering aggressively, so that way you're not in that pudding range where you neg to infinity. So definitely still a really strong card, and yeah, this has changed the way the deck plays, I'd say. So I'm really liking it. And we got the tag team partner, the world's greatest tag team, Nolan. And Nolan, unfortunately, it is not a Sky Island or a Shandian card. It is unsearchable. Now, mind you, there is a 3-cost event that will search it along another Shandian. However, it is a little bit slow because it is 3 cost, and I feel that you're better off getting that search for 5-cost Kalgara, 6-cost Kalgara, search into All More Holy, because these cards are more important at the start of the game. I think you can get by on turn 4 going first, or turn 3 going second if you don't have this, whereas you absolutely have to have the other cards. And yeah, it is an on play, so you can't do much with it on Teach, but still, it's a 5-6 body, really strong. And this now no longer has to do all of the work healing. You have the other Kuma behind it as well. So now you can relax and let go of this card sometimes as counter, so you don't have to hold on to it. And you know, you have more ways to defend yourself due to that as well. So really strong card. It pairs really well going to first or second now because you can play with the 5 cost, you can play with the 6 cost. So it has not changed the card itself, but it's gotten better because of the cards around it. So yeah. And so one card that suffered the most in this update for OP12 is Wiper. Wiper used to be a 4-3 off, but now due to adding more Shandian Warrior cards and more generic yellow good cards, this fell down to 2 count because 1, it is a brick, it is a non-counter card, but it is searchable. It is a 5-7, so it's really strong. And yeah, the one thing I would say is that this one unfortunately took the hit and got cut the most, but it is still a very, very playable card. If you don't have the 5-cost Kalgara, you can play him and potentially get a search and get your Shandian card and draw into Kalgara or 5 or 6, right? So it's still really strong. It can bottom your opponent's stages, German Kingdom, the Fula Lid. You can also bottom the Green Purple Luffy stage 2, so you can't increase the cost anymore. So yeah, still a very worthwhile card to have. Now it's more toolboxy and when you need it, but it's really good to have. And also because it is a non-combo card, you can also easily discard it with Kuma and not feel as bad about it too. And we have the former king of this deck, the 6/8 Kalgara here, and this one, so like you see, it is going to be a 3 count now. It could be a 4 if you really wanted to. It was at 1 point for me, but cutting it is okay due to the sheer amount of Kalgaras and Shannon Warriors that we have now, especially because we've now added a new vanilla 2K wiper and the 5-cost Kalgara, so it's not too bad. Having an 8K is pretty good, but now we have also Kuma, who's a 7, and the other wiper, who's also a 7, so still really good. It is a really good beater into the Teach matchup because it is a 6/8, so it's really hard to get around, and it does get around a lot of cards that have KO or bottoming or bouncing effects, because a lot of them, the average threshold is going to be 5 costs or less, and this one is 6. So you're only at the mercy of a Graph Blade or a Red Rock, for example. Or Reduction, mind you. Reduction is always there. And we have the new kid on the block. And this one may not seem all that interesting, but this is one of the first batch of 2K counter vanillas in the game, along Chopper and many others. So instead of being a 6/8 like this Kalgara was, it got 1K attack chopped off to have more counter, which is perfectly fine because 7 is a magic number into attack and into leader if you do play it out. But predominantly, you do want to go ahead and have it be used as a 2K counter. Then we have 3 Bartholomew Kuma. Yeah, I don't have the cards. But, so Bartholomew Kuma, it is a really strong card to have now thanks to OP12 format. It is a card that you discard and then you heal by 1. It does increase your cost by 2, so it makes it tougher to get removed. And when it gets removed via KO, you heal again, which is huge. So if your opponent is really trying to clear your board, it's going to make it more difficult for them to choose to do so. It's kind of like a deterrent, right? So that's really important. It also gets around other effects like our Electrical Luna, for example, because it is above the cost threshold, so that's really strong. It is another healer. I did not play 04 because I think it's a little bit too much, and playing 7 healers feels just right. So yeah, that's Kuma, guys. And lastly, my flavor of choice. I'm playing 1 10 cost NL, and this came after further deliberation of what I wanted to do with the deck. I really like this card back in EVO2 format because it was a little bit slower. It was really good into green-purple, I think, because of the fact that you would have this played out, you would have counter in hand, and you would normally, on the 8 Dawn turn, or 9, you would have your 5 cost Sanji blocker, your 1 cost Raki blocker. You could have all that, and that way you could just have him sit down, attack, you heal, and he's protected by the blockers. So nowadays, there is not much blockers play in the deck because they're very susceptible to being removed, rested, bounced, bottom decked. So I'm not playing any right now, so you can see. Green is a very annoying deck to play against, but at the same time, if you're playing against green, they can just say Hody, rest, then you're cooked, right? But this card is a game ender. It clinches your game because you can always choose to do a split and go tall and go wide with your board, but there are times where you need to progress the game a little bit longer, and this is technically another heal. So you're not only healing, but you're also getting rid of another body or taking another life, and he is huge, being 11k. The only option that your opponent has is to go super tall. So that's the one thing I like about this card now in this deck, because you're searching and you're drawing so much from the 5 cost Kalgara that you're gonna have so much 2k counter or regular counter in your hand that now he is gonna feel more protected, because now you will have all your Dawn tapped out. So the only defense you have is your counters. So I think he feels safer to play around right now. And yeah, he can definitely win you a lot of the games. I think he's pretty good against decks that require you to go for your board, like Rayleigh. And yes, I am gonna say shout out to Bamper Gaming, Jacoby, for telling me, yeah, Diego, you should play this. But yeah, then for the events, it's gonna be 2, the Earth Will Not Lose. The Earth Will Not Lose is huge because it is going to be the yellow Shanding Warrior guard point, and it is going for character or leader, and at the same time you can play for free an upper yard and get a surge. So I will keep these 2 in hand, play this out, play out this, get a 2k counter in hand, or a 1k or whatever, or progress your game and get a Kalgara, for example. So it's huge. It's a really strong card to have. I think 2 is good right now. Per Stefano's deck list, he did play a 2-2-2, sorry, a 2-2, and I had been playing a 4-4 with outdoor, but I think 2 for this is good right now. Then we have 2 Gum Fire Fist Pistol Red Hawk. And the reason why I play 2 is because of the ratio aforementioned above. But with this, it's really good in the sense that 1, it is a leader restricted only 3k counter, and it can remove via KO 1 5 cost of original cost. So say you're staring down a Sanji Pudding, they play the stage, they raise cost, no problem. Play this, you rest your 4 Dawn, and you get rid of it because it says original cost. So that's the main strength of that card. Then the lone outdoor, and that's the difference between me and Stefano's deck, because I needed to make room, and I think with all the search that you have in the deck, I think you can afford to have just the 1, and you don't always get to use it because there's some times where your opponent, you will probably starve them or go for their board and you don't make it to 2 life in time for it to be valuable. So I think 1 is okay to have because I'm playing one of these. And I'm playing one of these because I like to gamble, and if you see this, you know, as your last life, you healed. So that's big. It is also big in the sense like, oh, what if I have my Dong tapped out? I need to protect something. What do? You play this. You know, sometimes your events are bricks because you don't have Dom to play. You play this. I play 10 cost NL. I'm tapped out. I have no way to defend this. Play this. So that is my rationale for it. You know, it's not, you know, perfect, but that's how I envision it. Then we have 4 upper yards, and upper yard, again, it is the absolute must in this deck because you need to progress your game state and draw into all of your outs, which are going to be your Holy, your Ohm, Shura. You can have your Earth Will Not Lose, your Eldor, your Kalgara, your Wipers. This searches the vast majority of your deck. Unfortunately, it has no trigger, but it's still really, really good, and it can be played in combo with the Earth Will Not Lose, so you can play it for free, or you can search it via the 4 cost Wiper, or bottom it and search a Shandian with the 5 cost Wiper. So yeah, this is going to be my deck list for Kalgara for OP12. I like the way that it plays. Feels pretty solid, consistent, smooth. I like the addition of these 2 cards being played. It is a yellow deck, so why not add some high roll to the deck, right? But if you want to go back to the top 8 deck list, all you got to do is you swap, take out this 0 cost, put in a second outdoor, you take out the NL, put in a 4th Shura, and that's going to be the top 8 deck list from Stefano in Bologna. I did take that 1 deck list to the Kissimmee Regional. I managed to go 6-3 at the event, where I played into my friend CJ. He was playing Bonnie, so I lost. I beat a Kusan, I beat a Rayleigh. We had a lunch break. I came back for lunch break. I lost to a Kusan. I chose to go first, and I think that was a mistake. I then lost to a Rayleigh, where he botted me because I whiffed home twice. He mulliganed me twice, and my last life was not counter. I really needed that counter. Came back and won out into a Reiju, a Teach, Kusan, and then finished into a Rayleigh. So I went 6-3 at that event, which is not the worst. It is my highest record run that I had since me going 7-3 at the North American Final in Los Angeles. So still pretty good. But yeah, no, I just wanted to show you this over here, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the deck list. If you want to know more about the way the deck plays and all the options and matchups, I do have a free Metafy article on this. I'm going to put it on my description. You can check it out. Again, it is a free Metafy guide. All you got to do is make your account. You can create it out of nowhere or link a Google account and you immediately get in. You hit buy. You're paying $0 for it, so it's free. And I have all my tech choices and the reason why I would or wouldn't play them. I have matchup instructions, what I mulligan for. It has the deck list as well, and a bunch of explanations on the Wisely House, right? So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the support. And I really hope going towards the future, now that we know that OP15 will be Sky Island, we will have more Sky Island, Shining Warrior support coming down the pipeline. And I get to get you guys more Kalgara content. Or maybe Red Yellow Viper. Yeah. Thank you guys. See you in Dallas.